Well, efforts are underway to put uranium mining in part of South Dakota, but some are concerned over the risks that could come with it. House Bill 1071 will allow the governor to enter into an agreement with the Nuclear Regulatory Commission to bring uranium mining and nuclear energy to the Rushmore state. The South Dakota Clean Water Alliance says that reopening mining operations in the region will contaminate waterways.
There are almost 300 old uranium mines and prospects in western South Dakota, and they leach into the Cheyenne River for sure. That has been measured. It probably leaches into the rivers in the northern part of the state, but that hasn't been measured as much.
The Dewey Burdock uranium mining project has been in the approval process for years. The project manager says their studies show the worries about water contamination are unfounded.
We have done an absolute complete environmental risk analysis of our project, which includes some old mining properties. And there is absolutely nothing affecting the drinking water quality downstream of those mines.
Hollenbeck added that this bill would bring the regulatory process closer to home, but says those laws and regulations would still be watched closely by the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission and the Environmental Protection Agency. The bill is still making its way through the legislature.